All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Morning Cafe. Being a Tuesday, I want us to talk matters business. We're just from a very long holiday and already seen some tweets online talking about how, salary meisha. The holiday is over, salary meisha. And this is a pattern that a lot of us don't talk about. Salary comes in, there's a little bit of some relief, and then we get into some small enjoyment, we pay our bills, we try and adjust some things here and there. And then before we know it, the salary is finished. So what are we not doing right? What should we do to at least keep ourselves afloat with the salaries that we are getting? Today we are focusing on the salaried fellas. We have CPA Joshua Kamwere on set to help us understand what our money habits and really just the personality of money, because we hear money has a personality as well, and there's a way it should be handled. Is the tumia ikuzoe term really sustainable for somebody who is depending on salary every month? And the question we're asking you this morning, if you can just have it on the screen, is with regard to the conversation you're having, and we do welcome you to also be part of this conversation. Just interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. Our WhatsApp line is also still very active, 0793-267-279. Our question of the day is, after payday, how long does your salary actually last, and what takes the biggest share of it? Once again, after payday, how long does your salary actually last, and what takes the biggest share of it? Do share your views with us on our socials. Karibu sana CPA.
Thank you very much.
You're well?
Yes.
How was your Easter?
It was good.
Yeah.
That's within the city.
Yeah.
I didn't do much of traveling.
Yep. I'd love to pose the question of the day to you. I did pose it to my colleague Dipal when we were starting the show, that after payday, how long does your salary last, and what takes the biggest chunk of it?
I think for us, majority of Kenyans, the salary...
For you as CPA, Joshua. Yes.
For my case, my salary lasts between 1 to 5 days.
Only?
1 to 5 days after payday. That's where the biggest chunk of the money goes out.
Yeah.
Then you're left with minimal spending throughout the month, because you realize that majority of us, then you have your bills being paid at the end of the month, whether it's rent, mortgage, loans, school fees. So that's paid immediately. You're paid. So it means that you're left with the survival mode up to the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you see this also translating in general to how Kenyans are with money, especially the salaried fellas, such that for you say that it's just 1 day to the 5th day, then the salary is a done deal?
Yes.
Is this also the way it is for most Kenyans, or how do you see it from your own assessment?
For majority of Kenyans, last between 0 to 7 days. Mm-hmm. And because about 40 to 60% are our needs, be it your rent, your transport, mm-hmm. You want to service your vehicle at the end of the month. So majority of the money goes away within the 7 days. Mm. But again, you're left with minimal spending towards end of the month. So the next 3 weeks, the first 1 week, almost you have 80% gone. You're left with 10 to 15% to survive throughout the month. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Looking at it, because now we are just talking about, you said, for Kenyans, but are we any different from other countries? Is it our own is very, we cannot really sustain ourselves? What is the problem exactly?
I think the issue is not the issue is not the salary. We have a problem with money management and pressure problem, mm-hmm. whereby you realize that you don't have a budget so that you can be able to direct where your money goes. Mm-hmm. We have inflation, lifestyle inflation, or social pressure where you have to give out to harambes, to having an event with your friends, chamas, black tax. So in a normal setup for a salaried person, your money is not your money, just you alone. It's your money plus other people who also depend on your money, because someone has a harabi or you have a burial which you are not planned for, then as a society you're expected to contribute to that particular function. So your money is not actually your money. You have to share with other people or other stakeholders within your circles. Yeah.
So in order to break from that cycle, should we at least be selfish to ourselves and say that, you know, I've worked so hard for this money. I know that when we're starting the show, you asked me when I started my day and I told you 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So they say that in a day, if you're going to give somebody, say, 2,000 Kenyan shillings, that means there's a day you woke up specifically for that particular person, for them, not for you.
Exactly.
So if at all we'll say that now we start being selfish with our own finances, would that now solve the problem at hand? Or that doesn't really make sense in the Kenyan setup?
I think as a society and as a Kenyan setup, especially those who are salaried, we have to be selfish, to be honest. Because if you're not selfish, it means that there are some needs you won't be able to cater for yourselves, meaning that you'll deplete your resources before you meet all your needs within a month. So at some point is, yes, you have to be selfish, but not just being selfish, you need to plan your selfishness. So, and in that I mean that when you're preparing your monthly budget, you need to be honest with yourself and list down all the items that, you know, you are money eaters, whether it's rent, whether it's transport, whether it's fueling the car, whether it's going out, whether it's giving your parents or your siblings something small during the month. So you have to be very honest so that that selfishness is planned. You need to plan for it so that you say that if there is an occurrence, for example, within a month, and maybe I have to contribute to a harambe or, you know, a burial preparation forum, then the maximum I can contribute is 1,000. And then you need to have that discipline that I'll only contribute 1,000 regardless of who has an issue or who doesn't have an issue. So we need to plan that selfishness, because as long as we say that, you know, you only live once, it's easier said, but when you're on it, then you realize that when you're on your M-Pesa and you don't have any balance, and I want to send earn 1,000, and they only have 500, the message is very clear. You have insufficient funds. So even if you want to not to be selfish, that balance in your M-Pesa wallet or in a bank account, at some point your bank will tell you you have insufficient balance. So it means that we have to plan for our spending and ensure that you don't have to spend and say you only live once. For example, some of the lifestyle issues which happens is especially during Eid month when we are paid. Then you realize that you have some pressure that I want to eat out. Yes. You know, the food at home is not tasting nice. You know, I need to take people out or I need to celebrate.
Managu is now bitter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll say, I don't want to eat serious. That's chakula ya kuku, you know. But at the end of the day, have you planned for that? You know, you going out. If you plan for it, well and good. But if you've not planned for it, just eat that dengu and the rice and life will be normal. Yeah. So
you're saying that, for example, if I have set 1,000 Kenyan shillings for contributions of, you know, the unforeseen, right?
Yes.
For example, somebody has lost a special someone, you know, in their lives, and then I have this 1,000 Kenyan shillings designated for this particular thing. If it's unforeseen, of course it's unforeseen, but then something happens to you, Joshua. So if you're saying if I have this 1,000 Kenyan shillings, so I have to divide it. If, for example, you're 3, so I have to divide this 1,000 Kenyan shillings times 3 to distribute between the 3 of you, or just send that 1,000 Kenyan shillings to Joshua and ignore the rest. How do we go about that?
I think in our setup, African setup, you know, when people invite us for functions, they say that your prayers, presence, and contribution will be highly appreciated. So in that case, it doesn't mean that it has to be contribution. It can be prayers, it can be presence. So within what you have, you will decide. In this case, Anne has called me and I'll choose presence. Another vulnerable case, I'll choose contribution. Another place, I'll choose prayers. If you are not endowed enough that you have a very large amount of money, you know, set aside for you assisting, because if you're not a politician, maybe there's something you're chasing from the community, then you don't have to contribute your all to ensure that maybe because there's something you expect back, maybe you want to be voted in. But a normal salaried person, then you need to balance. Is it prayers, presence, contribution, or all? It doesn't have to, I have to contribute. I can be present for you, I can pray for you. Exactly.
And you know, we are in a society, as African people, not only as Kenyans, we have this tendency of trying to people please. And I'm just sitting here wondering, is that really something that is doable? Looking at it, being there, you know, just your presence alone. Because Africans, we love to please people. We love to carry, you know, tuonekane we contributed, you know, say 5,000 Kenya shillings, 10,000 Kenya shillings.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that is a mindset that can change, such that for it to be like, you know, you don't have to contribute financially, but only your presence alone is enough. Is that mindset something that can change?
It's something which ought to change. It's a delicate balance because we are communal as a society. So you want to contribute, you want to be there, you want to play for that person.
Yeah.
But again, when you look that you have limited resources, for example, I cannot go and borrow and I can't go and fuliza for me to contribute, because we also need to understand as people who earn salary, you have a fixed salary.
Yes.
It's 20,000 a month. So whether there are holidays, whether there were rains, whether there was storms, you still get the 20,000. So it's you to be able to work on that 20,000 and ensure that it's able to take you from day 1 to day 30. And of course, you need also to save something for an eventuality or for your investments. So in this particular case, yes, it's doable. And we need to get to a point where you're saying that I can't afford it. I can't go and borrow to please someone. Because at the end of the day, if you look at all the events, the people who invite us for events, whether it's a burial, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a rorashio, all those events, the organizer, the person who is the key stakeholder in that, they've already set a date. So whether you contribute or not, the event will happen. When we have a burial preparation and we said burial will be next week, Friday, whether there is contribution or not, that event will take place. So it's upon you as an individual to realize how much can I be able to part with. Yes.
Joshua, would you say Kenyans are just earning too little to save or sustain them in the long run, say, you know, the whole month? Because a lot of Kenyans are living paycheck to paycheck. Is the problem the salary? Am it's just our really interpretation of money and our money habits? What do you say? Pesa ni kidogo ama vipi? Or the economy is just not doing well?
For salary people, even during when those economic times when we are saying that the country is doing well economically, for sure the country is not doing well economically. But that is not the excuse regarding money, because we have money eaters. So we need to address our money eaters. And our money eaters would be, for example, our needs. If you're earning X amount of money, 20,000, where do you live? Do you go and maybe have a house where you're paying rent of 15,000 and you're left with 5,000? So those are the things we need to address. Our lifestyle choices. Do I have to use a Techno or an iPhone? Because as long as I'm communicating and I have, you know, internet as is a smartphone, you can have a very entry-level smartphone and you can have top of the range. But what do you use for that that smartphone for? Maybe it's just WhatsApp and, you know, just checking your socials and communicating. No one cares, did you call me with an iPhone or you call me with a Techno? As long as we are communicating, that's good enough. Then the issues about the social pressures, the way we were just talking about it, that at the end of the month you feel that you want to upgrade, you know, your wardrobe, you want to upgrade your phone. Then the debt trap. Majority of people will have mobile phones loans or multiple loans. So it's a point where you're looking at, do you need to consolidate your credit so that you only have one loan and you are paying less interest? And again, then we also need to plan, have a budget, track your money, know where your money goes. As long as you're able to go through those 5 issues, then the money which you're saying might not be enough will be enough, because 20,000, there's someone earning 10,000 and they are living comfortably in a certain location in the city. There's someone who is earning 200,000 and is also living in a certain place in a city, but they cannot be able to push from day 1 to day 30. But the person who is earning 10,000, they're able to push from day 1 to day 30. So what's the difference between those two people? It's your planning and how you plan for your money. So I think we, as human beings, we want to earn more and more and more. But whatever amount you're earning, it's good enough. We just need to ensure that we manage that piece of that money properly and ensure that we don't succumb into social pressures. Yes.
I'm interested to know exactly where somebody who earns 10,000 Kenyan shillings lives comfortable? Because I would want to go live there. Joshua, I wonder if it's really, really realistic, especially in the capital city, Nairobi. I know something like that would work for, the rural areas. I know somewhere, rent is just 2,000 Kenyan shillings. They're paid, say, 17,000 Kenyan shillings, but they're living a very wonderful life, a comfortable life.
Yeah.
But here in the capital city, I care to know where somebody would live comfortably just with 10,000 Kenyan shillings and still save and, of course, do their budgeting well. If you could just break it down for our viewer, because I know this is a very interesting point that you've brought up.
Yeah.
Just what you've seen, the trends that you've seen, using that 10,000 Kenyan shillings as an example.
For example, if you look on what we have on minimum wage orders released by the government almost every May Day or Labor Day, every 2 years, they'll give us what is the minimum wage for certain categories. Out of those categories, you'll find that a minimum wage of a category would be 15,000, meaning after you tax, will come around 10, 12,000. So that person, in terms of where they will live, of course, they won't be able to live in the suburbs of the city. They'll be able to live in slums, right, where you pay a rent of 3,000. You feed on, day to day, those people, you won't be able to afford to eat 3 meals a day. Maybe you'll eat 2 meals a day at a 2,000. You do your groceries at 2,000. That's about 7,000. And for your upkeep in terms of Medicare or clothing, you'll do another 2,000. And you'll be able to save maybe a 500 shillings in a month, depending on the location where you live. Of course, it's not the salary people where you're saying that is a white-collar job, that you're going to an office, because you won't go and live in a slum on, iron sheets, cigar room. So the lifestyles that we live in, it's what makes us, upgrade on where we stay or where we live. Because someone maybe earning another 20,000 will stay on a cigar room of 4,000, where you pay, maybe you're not commuting very far from where you live. So you're just walking to work. So there is no transport involved. And there is no fuel involved because you don't have a car. So it all depends with how much are you earning, and can you be able to go and live in the class where the people who are earning that amount stay. So that you don't have to be earning 15,000 and you want to struggle to live in a bed sitter of 7,000. But unless maybe you or two and you're sharing. So you find that those people who are low earners, they don't have a problem sharing a cigar room, me and my friend who are workmates. But as we progresses in our career and maybe you're earning an extra amount, you want your own space. But when you are earning a low amount of money or a small amount of money, then you don't have a problem either sharing a room or sharing meals. We cook at your place, then tomorrow we cook on my place. So those are some of the issues that those people don't have. But as you progress in terms of your earning power, then I don't want a cigar room, I don't want to be sharing bathroom outside my house, I want a bed sitter. Now I don't want, when my visitors come, they just, the sitting room and the bed is in the same room. So I want a 1-bedroom. So the lifestyle choices that we make is what makes us spend more month on month, but also depends on the amount you're earning in a month. Is your lifestyle inflation growing more than the money you're earning? For example, because if you're living in a certain location and maybe you got a salary increase, you want maybe to move from this estate to the next estate. I've been buying a suit of 2,000 from a certain shop in Isili. Now I don't want to go to that side. I want to go to West Side where I can buy 10,000 worth of a suit. So the choices we make that puts pressure on the money that we earn. Yes.
Is it possible to just maintain, that lifestyle? For example, if you are buying a suit at 2,000 Kenyan shillings, and it serves its purpose very, very well, just to maintain it as that, as opposed to, say, the salary now increases, and then now you want to increase your lifestyle and go for something, a suit that costs 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Well, this 2,000 Kenyan shillings suit is just, doing its job perfectly. Is it possible for, I don't know if it's a Kenyan problem, an African problem, or just a global problem, but as a people, is it possible for us to just maintain that standard if at all this suit is serving its purpose?
It's very much possible to maintain that. It's very much possible, but then it calls for discipline. You need to be disciplined to ensure that you are able to live on the same lifestyle without upgrading because you're having you know, more resources, more and more resources. Because if you look on, without mentioning names, if you look on high net worth individuals in Kenya, you realize that, for example, someone has a Range Rover which is, you know, 12 years. But for us, when you salary and you get a salary increase, you want to upgrade your car every 2-3 years. But the people who have, they are not worried about the material things that they need to be upgrading every now and then. Yes, they can be able to afford, but they are saying is the vehicle comfortable enough for my stature? They'll say yes. Can it be able to move from point A to point B? And it ticks, it says yes. So they don't have to keep on upgrading. But you find that the salaried people, the middle class, will like, you know, there's a new phone, iPhone 17 or iPhone 18. I'm waiting for, you know, iPhone Fold. So when it comes out, everybody is rushing to the shop. But you find someone with a very old phone, iPhone 13, and it's still working and works perfectly. So I think for middle class and people who are salaried, the pressure on lifestyle is too much.
Yeah.
So you need to be very disciplined to say no to many things, but it's doable.
Yeah, at least you've indicated me somewhere. Momanyi is a camera guy. He asks me time and time again why I don't have an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
My phone is working perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some feedback with regard to the question, the conversation you're having this morning. And the question we are asking online is, after payday, how long does your salary actually last? And what takes the biggest share of it? Once again, after payday, how long does your salary actually last? And what takes the biggest chunk of it? Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. James from Nairobi says, honestly, by around the 10th, Nico Dry, rent takes the biggest chunk, then fare and food follow immediately. For James, it's rent. We have Mercy from Nakuru. My salary lasts about 2 weeks if I'm disciplined, but school fees and shopping ndio huimaliza haraka sana. All right. We have Brian from Thika. For me, it's loans and mobile apps. Before I even touch the money, half is gone. The rest is survival. All right. And we also have Aisha from Mombasa. She says food prices are too high. You plan for shopping, but things are double. Salary nowadays is just for basics. These are some of the feedbacks that we're getting, and one that I've stood out for me is that one on loans. Before it just keeps my mind. So he says that once, you know, he gets the salary, and then for him it's the loans that he has to pay first. And I'm now wondering, because now if he pays, then that puts him in a cycle where he has to borrow, pay each and every time before even the 15th, the mid-month, 15th.
Yeah.
So should we prioritize paying loans or just saving up fast and then paying these loans later? What is the solution to breaking that cycle?
Good question, and it applies to majority of Kenyans in terms of the mobile loans and, you know, microfinance loans that individuals have, and that takes big chunk of it. So I think one of the things James would do is plan for your money, budget for the income that you get in a month. And we say that on this, we need to be very honest with ourselves. List everything that you have to incur in a month. Then whatever remains, if there is something which remains, you need to allocate a certain portion of money to be able to repay your debts. Because what happens is, for example, if you take a mobile loan today and you're supposed to pay within 30 days or on the 30th day, and you don't pay, then there is an interest loaded on that principal amount. So again, it becomes very expensive. So you just need to list the debts you have, what are the interest rates you're being charged on each debt. Then you can start with the small debts. For example, maybe you have a freezer of 2,000. You can pay it and say, depending on how you prioritize, what is the amount and the interest rate on each, you start with the smaller loans. If you have, for example, 4 loans, you have a Sacco loan, you have an Mshwari, you have a Fuliza, you have, you know, a Timiza loan or any other product. So look on how much do you pay in a month on those loans. Then start with the smallest, finish it. Then the amount you're using to pay the smallest loan, load it to the next loan. So if you had 4 loans, one I'm paying 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, another one 3,000. I start paying off the one I'm paying 1,000. So when that loan finishes, the other loan which I was paying 1,000, then I'll add the 1,000 of the loan which I've just finished paying. So then that loan I'll be paying 2,000, so that you continue gradually increasing the repayment of the subsequent loans to ensure at some point, then you need to be able to clear off your loans. But again, as you plan on your budget, you need to understand, why am I taking this debt? Is it because my lifestyle is too high compared to my income? So that if I was living on a 1-bedroom paying 10,000, then I can go to a bed sitter and pay 7,000. Then the 3,000, I'll use it to repay the loan. So you first need to analyze, what are my expenses within the month, and what is taking me. You need to ask yourself, what is taking me to these debts? And if it's a lifestyle issue, and you can have a room to be able to adjust, whether I'm going to live closer to work and a cheaper rent, or move from a 2-bedroom to 1-bedroom, or 1-bedroom to a bed sitter. Is it that I'm paying, I'm taking my kids to a high expensive school? Can they get the same quality at a cheaper price? So those are the options you need to weigh, so that the trigger which pushes you to the loans then can be reduced. Because as long as you want to continue repaying the loan, but the triggers are still there and you're not addressing them, you'll be on the same cycle. So you need to make a fundamental change on your spending and know what is actually pushing me to debt, then work on it.
So say these are debts that were there even before, somebody has come to the conclusion that now, I need to now come down on my spending and live, not within my means or below my means, but just to fix some sort of things to be able to pay these debts. Say we have 4 debts that you were talking about. So is it possible to just put these 3 debts on hold to pay to start from the least? Say I'm paying one for that I'm owing 2,000 Kenyan shillings. If I'm going to pay 2,000 Kenyan shillings from my salary, that means that is the only amount of money that I've designated to pay this loan. Then if I put more, pay more on another loan, then that means that I'm going to also, keep on this cycle of, borrowing again. So is it possible to put 3 on hold to pay the next month? Because I know you talked about interest, but then I'm thinking, does it get to a point where these mobile loan apps get to, just stop increasing the interest? Now they put you in CRB, wamekuachia Mungu. Do they get to that point where now wamekuachia Mungu, such that they don't now increase these interest rates to also give somebody who has a loan time to repay them? Is that possible?
The current setup of mobile lending companies in Kenya, they don't stop accruing interest. They still list you to CLB if you're not paying, but the interest will continue, escalating. So, but abnormal situations cause for abnormal measures. If you can't be able to service all the 4 loans, and you're already on CLB, so I mean, from a Kenyan point of view, there is nothing worse of the worst. I mean, the worst has already happened.
There's no need to hurry.
There is no need to hurry, because if you can't be able to pay the 4 of them, then you need to target and complete one, then you address the other one. So, but that's on the abnormality that, I mean, nimefika mwisho, sina pesa. So when you get that point where sina pesa, I mean, you'll have to default for sure. And then you start addressing one loan by one. But of course, you can talk to the mobile lending apps or the lending companies to give you a moratorium. Say, I'm having these difficulties, can you stop and you give them a repayment plan. Majority of the institutions will give you time to reorganize your finances and say, yes, we might not stop accruing interest, but we won't harass you. The mental torture where you get an SMS or a call every other day. So they can give you that, they can allow you to give them a repayment plan where you say, I won't be able to afford to pay this amount, but can I be able to be paying X amount every month? So institutions, financial institutions will accept such considerations. But in the event they don't, then you need to target to complete one loan, then go to the next, then go to the next, then go to the next.
Something that I think a lot of Kenyans don't quite understand about CRB is, of course, after these mobile lenders have forwarded your name to the CRB, once you are done paying these loans, do they now take down your name, or what happens? Yeah,
so after you listed and because of non-payment, and then over time you're able to complete repaying your loan, of course they always update. Anytime majority of them, every month they update your status with CLB. Maybe you have a debt of 10,000, they say you paid, the last payment date was yesterday, being 6th. Then they'll keep on updating. So when you complete that loan, your listing will not be negative because you've completed the loan. Yes, so that status of CLB is not static. So as long as you continue paying and you complete your loan, or now you don't have any arrears, you're on terms, then your record at CLB will update as such. Yes.
These digital loans that, of course, are now here, everybody is now, you know, giving out a loan. Every app, when you scroll, you know, on social media, you'll find an app there, an ad of an app, just promoting how they can give you, I think, 2,000 Kenyan shillings, up to 200,000 Kenyan shillings.
Yes.
But would you say that these apps are now here to save Kenyans, or they're just putting Kenyans into long-term financial stress, such that, you know, sometimes life is definitely very, very hard. As we say, you say it by day 5, your salary is, you know, gone.
Yeah.
Somebody say by day 7, the salary is gone.
Yeah.
But would you say that these digital loans are now here to save the situation, or they're just putting us in a cycle where we're now going to get stressed financially?
So mobile lending apps, what they have done is, in terms of the financial market, it's opening up access to finance, meaning that you can get debt very easily by them being able to appraise based on your M-Pesa transactions. So what they have brought is financial inclusion, and in terms of access to finance. But again, the challenge is there is no much education in terms of what do you do with this expanded access to finance. What are you doing with it? Because there's someone who will go to a more digital lending app, borrow, start a business, a small business, and they're able to multiply and get profit and repay back. So that's a good
debt.
Good debt. But there's someone else, for example, it's Ed month, I don't have money, there is pressure for, you know, for a weekend, people want to hang out, and you say, no, this mobile app, I can get 2,000, so I can go and get Muzinga. And I'll be happy like any other Kenyan who is happy out there. So then that's a bad debt, because how are you planning to repay that debt? So that's what will put us in a fix. So we can't say that digital lenders are giving us to pushing us to financial stress. No, it's us as the customers who are going to access that credit. What are we using that credit for? Exactly. Yeah.
One time I was having a conversation with someone, and they were of the opinion that you cannot really come out of debt with, you know, with your salary. So, now that, you know, you got into that debt with this salary, well, you still had that salary. Say, for example, a 50,000 Kenyan shillings. And I'm using 50,000 Kenyan shillings because a big chunk of salaried workers are within that range. About 1.36 million salaried workers are within that range. That you have to get a side hustle for you to be able to repay your debt. What do you think of that? That your salary alone cannot clear your debts?
I tend to differ with that approach. Your salary can clear your debt. And it's not necessarily that you have to have... What happens is, it's not necessarily true that your salary cannot clear your debt. But when you have a side business, you can be able to clear your loan faster. Because you have an additional source of income. So meaning that if I'm earning 50,000 net and maybe I took a loan of 100,000, if I have a side business, I can be able to repay that loan faster. So it's only the time period which it takes for someone who has a side hustle and someone who is purely salaried, how long it takes for them to clear a loan, if they are committed to clear the loan. Because I can be having a side hustle, but the main goal of that side hustle maybe is to help me put up some real estate investments. But if you're channeling that to repay a debt, yes, you can pay it faster. But it's not necessarily true that if you don't have a side hustle, you can't be able to repay the loan. Remember, when you're getting that loan, you're using your salary or your pay slip for you to be able to qualify for that credit. So the salary alone, it's an enabler to assist you access finance. So we cannot again say that the enabler which made us access the loan cannot help us clear that particular loan.
So it depends person to person.
Person to person, yes.
This 1.36 million people who earn 50,000 Kenyan shillings and below.
Yes.
I'm sitting here wondering if somebody like that would want to get a car. Is that possible? Because I also saw just on TikTok, somebody had asked a question on in a comment section, and she said, "I'm earning 50,000 Kenyan shillings. This is the net disposable income.
Yes.
What type of car can they get?" And there were a lot of discouraging messages saying, "Wewe hata usifikirie gari." Is that really something that is doable for somebody who gets a net disposable income of 50,000 Kenyan shillings to get a car?
Two things. It's possible for that person to get a car. But number two question is, how long will they be able to sustain that car? Because you'll need fuel, you'll need repair and maintenance. So that's where the affordability part of it might not sink in. Because when those expenses come in, you need to repair, you need to buy tires, you need to buy insurance. You know, you are just driving very well on a highway, then someone knocked your car and they ran away, so you have to fix it. So the sustainability part of it, it's a challenge. It's very difficult at a net of 50,000. But assuming that this 50,000, you are the one, you know, feeding for all your things. You're paying rent, you're paying transport, you're paying school fees, or maybe even you don't have a child, so you're not paying school fees. So you can be able to have a car, but sustainability part of it, it's a challenge.
So in short, you can't.
you can have a car, you can have a car and pack it. But in terms of you being able to sustain it from day 1 of January to December 31st, it's a bit tricky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky.
You said two things, but at least I was hoping you were going to give them a direct answer, because what I'm getting from that is that no, actually you can't.
Yeah,
it's tough. You can, but you cannot sustain a car with 50,000. So at the end of the day, you just give it out again for auction or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about finances. Where does our money go? The question you're asking once again on social media. After payday, how long does your salary actually last and what takes the biggest share of it? Once again, use the hashtag MorningCafeTV47. After payday, how long does your salary actually last and what takes the biggest share of it? Kevin from Eldoret says, fuel and transport are killing us. By mid-month, I'm already budgeting for the next salary. That is Kevin from Eldoret. Wanjiru from Kiambu says, if you have kids, salary haikai. School needs something every other day, it never ends. That is Wanjiru. We also have Otieno from Kisumu. For me, in black tax. Family responsibilities, you can't ignore them, but they finish your money fast. We also have Faith from Nairobi. She says, to be honest, sometimes it's just life, rent, tokens, Wi-Fi, food, everything is essential. Nothing you can cut off. That is Faith. We also have Dennis from Machakos. By 15th, I'm already broke. What takes most of it? Rent. And these taxes we don't even understand. We also have Shayla from Nyeri. She says, my salary lasts the whole month, but barely. No savings, no enjoyment, just bills. Let's start from black tax. How do we go about that? Because a lot of Kenyans, you know, black tax inamaliza wengi. Last week we were talking about a topic that the current generation, the Gen Z, that they are now not, you know, giving in to black tax. They're not sending money back home. They're not helping parents build. They're asking questions like, mzazi alikuwa wapi kujijengea, you know. But now we have the millennials who, of course, feel like black tax is something that is quite mandatory for them. Then how do we go about, you know, black tax without also feeling the pinch of survival?
Just to go back to basics on the black tax, we need to plan for it. And even people who are around us, we need to make sure that they also understand planning for money. So that if I said my folks in the village the money, 2,000, then they also need to plan on that 2,000 because that's where my affordability can get me to. So if I earn 50,000 and I have said that I'll be sending my mom 2,000, I'll be sending my dad 2,000, I also need to ensure that they also understand that you need to budget for that 2,000 because I only earn my money once a month and I earn it through salary. So don't call me on 15th or on 20th that there is something, kuna kitu imefanyika hapa nyumbani, ng'ombe inahitaji dume. I mean, we need to ensure that the people around us, the people who rely on us, because we said our salary is not ours alone. We share it with people. So they also need to understand the people who ask you for black tax. Is it something that they can be able to budget and say, by the way, I'll be sending you 2,000, 1,000 is for you to do your grocery shopping, 500 is for airtime, and 500 is for chama. So I'll be sending you 2,000. So you need to budget for it because as millennials, we cannot live or use our productive employment life supporting our folks. It doesn't work because at the end of the day, if you are unable to meet your needs throughout the month, you can't say that it's because I sent money to my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, or my grandmother, or my siblings. So we need to budget for it. We need to plan how selfish we can. As long as we don't have a plan on how much you said, you'll be on this cycle year in, year out, month in, month out. So you need to plan for it and say, Mom, I'll be sending you 2,000 because me, I earn this money, I'm paying school fees, I have transport, I have fuel, I have XYZ, I have Medicare to take care of. So once you put people within your circle that this is the much I can afford, because there is a reason why, even if you say that black tax is eating our money, I don't earn $1 million. So my parent cannot ask me to give me $1 million. But they can call me to ask me for 5,000 because they know this person can afford 5,000. So why are they not asking me to send them 1 million? It's because they know I cannot afford it. So it's me to tell them my affordability gets to this level. They are not asking me 100 million or 1 billion. So make sure that your people are near you, that they can be able to know that our son in the city can only afford 2,000. Ukipitisha 2,000, hataweza. So stick to that. As opposed to you being, generous, they are happy. At the end of the day, when you're in those debts, mobile app debts or circle debts, or you're listed on CRB, them they don't care.
They're not there.
And if you don't put your shit together, they'll say, huyu kazi yake ilikuwa tu kutusaidia na yeye hakujipanga. So what Gen Zs are doing is the right thing to do. And even us as millennials, we should not expect our kids to support us. So it's us to fix our own financial well-being by letting people who are close to us know that this person can only afford 2,000. He hataweza. This one he can. This one he can't.
As we come to a close, how can now salaried workers diversify their wealth? Because there's also this debate that it's quite hard or impossible for somebody who works an 8 to 5 to have a side hustle that will also thrive, being that it needs just as much attention as, whatever they're employed to do also needs attention. Then how can salaried workers now diversify their income and wealth?
So there are several ways where salaried people can be able to diversify their income. And when we are planning for our money, we need to start somewhere where you can be able to keep some money at the end of the month. You need to save something. And it's how well do you keep this money? If you say that, for example, because as finance professional, we say that you need to save at least 20%, and you cannot be able to afford to save 20%. Even start with that 1% or 2% or even 100 bob or 200, and ensure that you're consistent and you have discipline to keep that money, and you also keep it where it's growing. So in terms of salary people having side hustles, we have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you have with your employment, or maybe 2 hours to commute, so we can say like 10 hours. But during your own free time, what are the skill set you can be able to, monetize? Because it doesn't have to be the normal business where you're doing manufacturing or you're doing merchandise sale. So what other service can you be able to offer? Or during the weekend, if you're good in communication, maybe you can offer some MC services in an event, or there is a party and where you can be an MC, or, you know, give a financial talk like a finance professional. Maybe there's Chama meeting in an evening or over the weekend. Can I be able to give them a talk and maybe they give me some stipend or something of the sort? So we need to cast our nets very wide and not just focus on, you know, the brick and mortar businesses or the businesses we are used to, but what are the services you can be able to say? It doesn't have to be good, but what can you be able to offer on the side to be able to have that extra income? And of course, we can also forget that within where you're employed, can you be able to put in as much as you can so that you can be able to be given a chance for a promotion? Because a promotion means more money. So you can also work within the organization and earn as much as, you know, have incremental earnings over time. When a promotion comes, they know that Joshua is the best in this, so we can offer him this opportunity to grow within the organization. So it can be outside the organization, and we also need to look into within the organization, because most of them, you know, if you look on the CEOs of, you know, big corporates in Kenya, they earn so much money on bonuses, and, you know, we see them on the news and the newspapers, this much bonus. So there are people who have been working within the organization for over 10 years or 5 years, and they're able to make so much more within the enterprise. For example, if in terms of when you say that you save and keep that money well so that it grows, for example, if someone invests in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, it means I don't have to go and manage Safaricom, but I can own 2 shares, which can grow over time. I can get dividend, I can get capital appreciation. So I can still make money while I'm still seated. I can invest in other companies through, whether it's through money market, whether it's through securities exchange, and I still earn money, which will supplement my employment income. Yeah.
Tumia pesa ikuzoe. Do you believe in that? Personally, I think it works for some. For me, it has worked. Tumia pesa ikuzoe. But I wonder what you think about that mindset. Because when you use money, they say money is, what do they call it? A circulation thing. That you have to let it circulate, end around and round, and it will eventually come back to you. What do you think about tumia pesa ikuzoe as we wind up?
Tumia pesa ikuzoe it's a good analogy. It's when you are not able to do anything with the money in terms of saving or investment. You're saying, hii ndio niko nayo, then tomorrow will cater for itself. But it's not. Tumia pesa ikuzoe, if you're investing in businesses and businesses maybe are failing and you keep on trying, it means you're learning something. But not tumia pesa ikuzoe because you've done, you know, you've bought natural hair and all that, you have a new phone, and that's not the analogy of tumia pesa ikuzoe. Tumia ikuzoe in terms of you're investing in this, and this is not working, let me try another thing. But it's not using it on lifestyle part of it, that tumia pesa ikuzoe. Exactly. But tumia pesa ikuzoe, if you're investing, then itakuzoea. But if you're just spending it for the sake of spending it, in terms of lifestyle, haitakuzoea. But if you're investing, for sure itakuzoea.
That's an interesting way to look at it from. Thank you so much, CPA, for making time.
Thank you.
That is CPA Joshua Kamwere talking to us about, you know, money habits. Where does our money go after, you know, after payday? And once again, our question that we're asking online, after payday, how long does your salary actually last? And what takes the biggest share of it? Of course, we do encourage you to keep interacting with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and on YouTube on X at TV47 Digital. After payday, how long does your salary actually last, and what takes the biggest share of it? Remember to use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. Let's continue this conversation, and I hope you've learned. Ukitumia pesa ikuzoe, then ni wewe niwe utaizoea ama itakuzoea. You have to use it nicely. You have to use it for investment. And that brings us to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and of course for your contribution as well. Asante sana CPA once again. Nimesema asante mara mingi because we've actually learned something from this particular conversation. My name is Anna Odida. Good morning, and do enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Okay, thank you.